It's the Nighttime Show podcast live from West Hollywood with our incredible special guest today. You know his work from the films Nixon, Romeo and Juliet, the show Law and Order, Dick Tracy, one of my favorite films of all time, and of course Goodfellas. And we have with us his incredible better half, the Emmy-winning talk show host and actress. They have a brand new book coming out right now. You can get it. Pino, Pasta, and Parties. We got Dee Dee and Paul Sorvino, everyone. And thank you so much for having us in your home. Your home is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. And let's just talk about this place.
It's the colors of the book, you may notice.
Absolutely. It is. It's the same colors. Oh, I love it. I love it. It all kind of goes together. It's got these beautiful, rich, deep reds.
Well, and, when they wanted to, I redid it about 7-8 years ago, and they shot a designer toward me, right? And he said, okay, we're going to put this here, and we're going to put some gray. I said, hold it. Here's $1,000. Thank you very much. Please go away.
Yeah, I love it.
And I designed it. So
yeah?
I'm also an artist.
Wow, yeah.
I
your
designed
sculptures are we can use some language, but they're unfucking believable.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what.
I like the
they're
show.
Unbelievable. They're
my
gorgeous.
Kind of show.
They're gorgeous pieces of work.
Thank
I mean, you have Jackie Robinson.
Yes,
over
that
there.
was my latest one.
That is incredible. Who else is over there? I'm seeing there's a couple other ones.
Well, not people of note. The Roman head was unless you're Italian, you wouldn't know him, from Italy.
Sure.
His name was Teo Mammucari. He was a co-star of mine in an Italian movie called Witches to the North. He's a famous comedian over there, and he commissioned me to do his portrait.
Oh,
that's
my God.
about 17, 18 years ago. And
then you've got beautiful ones that are on the balcony.
yeah, well,
as
then there's the boxer out there called And Still Champion. Then there's Lovers out there.
I know, but let's tell everyone about Lovers. So we live in this big, beautiful building, and when you get off the elevator, you see this great, big, naked guy's butt.
I love it.
And it's right when you get off the elevator. It's
Yeah.
hilarious, but it's beautiful. And we kept thinking, someone's going to complain. We're in West Hollywood, no complaints.
No
I
complaints.
love it. I love it. Genius. We'll take some pictures of them so
Sure.
we can post them so
Yeah.
everyone is listening can know what we're talking about. So before we get into talking about career histories, let's just talk about the two of you. You guys are such a sweet, lovely couple. And you guys wrote this incredible book. It's got so many different wonderful recipes in here. Now, these are recipes that are both of yours, or are they specifically Paul's, or how did you guys figure this out?
Well, I've been cooking since I'm 12 years old.
Sure.
A lot of Italian-American men can cook.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is so. It just is. And so it was very natural to me. I learned how to do it at an early age. And I'm the one who did the cooking in this marriage. My wife used to make reservations for dinner. What are you going to make for dinner? Reservations. And
I'm like, we're eating home again? What?
yeah, she didn't like this
I
business.
don't understand.
Yeah, well, what is that?
We're like not going out tonight?
No, so we
That changed
I would
very
say our
quickly.
restaurant bill was about $10,000 a month, right?
Oh,
we were
my
going,
God.
you keep going out to good restaurants, you
Sure.
see that adds up, especially if you like really good wine and really good food. in
And we
good
do,
restaurants. So,
of course.
but the point is, Dee Dee got this idea and said, we should do a cookbook. I said, well, I've thought of it, but it never came to fruition. She said, but I've got an idea for it, because she's the one with all the ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's the real smart one. I'm real smart, but she's real smarter than I am. And I'm the smartest guy I know.
But when you can cook and act and sculpt and play piano, yeah,
It's
right.
enough already.
Brilliant.
But I
He's
don't
a
have
brilliant
to be
man.
smart. I can be just like I am.
No.
So,
Okay,
anyway.
by the way, before we get in trouble, he's
sure.
imitating a character he did called
Yes.
Dummy.
Yeah.
And it was a deaf
He was
lawyer.
a deaf lawyer. He talked like this. And I had to speak in the way of a deaf lawyer.
Well, when I was growing up, my mom would always say, you don't have to do the dishes as long as you sit and play the piano.
That's nice.
And so that has worked out great for my girlfriend, who's always like, why are you not cleaning up your dishes? I was like, because I'm playing the piano.
Nice.
Yeah, it does not
My
work
mother
for
was
her.
a piano teacher, and she was a great pianist herself. But
And of course, we have a big piano in
Oh,
our
your
home.
piano
and
is
Paul
gorgeous.
plays very well, and he does everything well. He is the true Renaissance man. You know, a lot of people say that, and you know they're not.
Yeah.
But Paul really is. I mean, he's the guy. And Paul just won the Lifetime Achievement Award given by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
Amazing.
He's the man.
Amazing. He's the man. Yeah.
I
And
sang.
oh, did you really?
Yeah,
What did you
sure,
sing?
and it
What
was
did you
really
sing?
fun.
Sing a little, honey.
Well,
Tell them the story about, the
well,
thing.
I'll tell the story.
Please tell the story.
You'll like
The
it.
story is that in Naples, over 100 years ago, after a rainstorm, there was a lyricist, poet, journalist, and he was noticing how beautiful the air is after a rainstorm in Naples, and the sun comes out, and it's really beautiful. The air is clean, it's like festive, and Naples has special air. I can't explain it, but there's the combination of the Gulf of Naples, the Bay of Naples, and somehow all the rest of it just works. That the air is almost, you can almost taste it. It's incredible.
I love it.
So he was looking at this, and he happened to glance over next door at his neighbor next door, and in the window sat a beautiful little blonde girl with the long blonde curly hair and big blue eyes, about 7 or 8 years old. And he said, the sun in the sky is beautiful, but the sun that comes from this child's face is my son. So his name was Capurro, and the song is O Sole Mio, which means my son.
Oh, yeah.
And the little girl was my Aunt Louisa.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Nice
my
story.
God.
So I give you a few notes of it because I'm not in the best voice today.
Please.
Guarda tu sole, che bello in è, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te.
Yes.
Bravo,
Bravo. Bellissimo.
Yeah, the man. Oh, no, his voice. He has no voice
Amazing.
today, though.
Amazing. Wow. You never think, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you go, God, you know what I would love to hear? This. Like, I mean, could you imagine every day waking up and hearing this? That would be
I do.
incredible.
Well,
Yeah,
I
every
sing
day.
for
I
her
get
every day.
serenaded
you wake up.
every day. I'm the
I cook
luckiest
for her
woman
and
in
sing
the world.
for her every
Oh,
day.
my
It
God.
doesn't get any
She
better
learned
than
how to
that.
cook, and now she's cooking for me.
That's
I
true.
love it.
He
I love
taught
it.
me.
And now you have this incredible book. Now, wait, where did you guys meet? How did you guys meet? Because I hear this is a good story. You guys met on the Phil
Neil Cavuto.
Neil
Neil
Cavuto.
Cavuto show. Yep.
On Fox News, and Paul was there, and he's known as the Reagan Democrat. Not really political, but this was an issue he felt strongly about. So he was there, and then he got up, and I took his seat. And then in the green room, he started stalking me.
Well, I looked at
And
her.
he did a
I
very
looked
good
at her.
job.
I saw her. And this beautiful, gorgeous brunette, these incredible blue eyes. And she's had on this blue periwinkle blue dress. And I saw an aura around her. Now, you don't know me, but I assure you, I'm not an aromatherapy kind of guy.
Right.
You know, I'm from Brooklyn. My family is noble, but I'm a guy from Brooklyn. If it is, it is, and if it ain't, it ain't. What's this
yeah.
aura crap? You know, what are we talking about?
Sure,
I
yeah.
actually saw it. So this is the emes, as my Jewish friends would say. This is reality. I actually saw an aura around her. And the words that came to my mind were just this: that's for me.
Wow.
And I
Not
started
she's
talking
for
to her.
me. That's for me.
That's for me.
I
And I
want
started
that.
talking to her, and we all went over to the restaurant after that, and I just put the move on her, which I never do. I'm an old-style gentleman. I don't.
What's the move?
Well, here was the move. We're talking. I'm talking to her. I put right next to her, right?
Right.
Make sure nobody gets anywhere near her.
Closer and closer
And
and closer.
I'm talking, and I'm noticing I'm not getting a bad reaction, and I think she likes me, right? So I put my arm around her, and I like this, and I didn't get a smack.
Yeah.
And
Which
I'm
usually
not
would
that-
happen.
I'm not that kind of guy. I never do this. This was involuntary. And I looked at her, and about 2 minutes later, I did this. I leaned over and kissed her on the middle lips,
Wow.
just like that.
Amazing.
And I didn't get a punch. I didn't get a smack. I didn't get a get out of my face. I didn't get mash her. Call
and
the
anyone
cops.
who knows me
Yeah.
would tell you I would kick you in the balls for that.
Oh, sure.
But
See-
Paul, what can I do?
Something
You know,
magic.
he's just
For our
something
listeners,
about
Magical.
him.
back-to-back episodes with dating advice. The last one was from Jesse Heyman.
Yeah, this is much better.
I
Yes,
wouldn't
much better.
advise this,
Much better.
and I've never done anything like that before. I don't go to parties to which I'm not invited.
Sure.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
God.
But I just couldn't help myself, and it just never stopped. I kept calling her and going, and it was just never stopped.
You know what? I learned that lesson the hard way. Have you ever been to a party you weren't invited to?
I think I went one. I remember one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was-
I
what
went
was
with a
it?
friend. It was awful. It was not good. People are looking at me and said, get out of here.
Oh, yeah. I got
I don't think you've ever been to a party
No, no.
that you've been invited
Oh,
to.
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Matt. You son of
Party
a-
Party
crasher.
No, I had an incident happen where I had heard that Adam Sandler was going to have a big Christmas party because he used to
Right.
have these big Christmas parties, and I was like, I want to go because I could meet wonderful people, but that would be a really exciting thing for me. I was still kind of green, and so I told a friend of mine, and he was like, there's a woman that works in accounting, and she's looking for, she has like an extra ticket.
This is not going to go well.
she'll
You can already
she'll
tell.
take you.
Nothing good comes out of accounting.
Oh yeah. So then his daughter told her that I was interested in her, and she was
my
she was
gosh.
about 40 years older than me. And she gets on the phone. She goes, "Okay, well, you're gonna pick me up and take me to this party."
Oh, my
and I was like,
gosh.
"Or we could just meet there." And she goes, "No, you're gonna pick me up and take me for dinner."
Take
and
my
then
walker.
and I was like, all right, okay. And so then we go and we get there, and the entire time she's walking around, she's going, "This is the guy I told you
Oh, my
about." And
Aye,
everyone's
aye,
like,
aye.
he's a little young for it, and it's super uncomfortable. And then she walks up to Adam Sandler and she goes, "Adam, this is the man I was telling you
That's
about."
hysterical.
And he just looks at me and just goes, "Yeah, good for you then, buddy. Good for you." And I was like,
Good on you.
"I'm never doing this again. This is the worst possible
Of course.
idea." Yeah, she hated me afterwards.
Well, speaking
Hey,
of hate, I
yeah.
have to tell you this.
What?
I worked at the White House, and I dealt with celebrities and actors, and I said, I cannot stand these people.
who did you work at
They're-
the White House under? Who was the
President Bush.
Oh my
Don't
God.
hate me.
No, I don't
love
hate.
President
I don't hate.
Bush.
That's amazing.
In West Hollywood, it's like 99%. We hate you if you are not way, way liberal. But anyway, that's what I did. I mean, but that's what I did. I worked with celebrities. I said, I can't stand these people. They are the worst. They are so difficult. They're like children. What am I going to do? It's all about them, blah, blah, blah. And then I end up marrying one.
I love
and I
it.
live in West Hollywood. I tell you, this man, he's just something about him that you can't resist.
Well, we knew that during Obama had celebrities that were coming around.
Well, yeah,
You know,
of
we had
course. He's a
Jay-Z and
liberal. He's a
Beyonce and stuff like this.
Democrat. They
Yeah,
dig
but
him.
What celebrities were coming around during Bush? Because Bush, although
It's a different crowd.
different time period.
No rappers.
Bush,
No rappers.
Very, very funny though. He had a good sense of humor. And
President Bush
real-
is fabulous. He's the best guy. I worked on the campaign end at the White House. The nicest guy you will ever meet. Funny, interesting.
He says a lot of silly stuff.
But he
too.
wants
But
to, though. He's a silly-
but he's like a
he's-
silly guy. Like
that's
that,
his personality.
Look, I always thought he was a very fun, kind of a very funny kind of guy. And we used to talk about him on stage and do bits about him.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
yeah.
of course. I do.
You insulted my president.
Oh no, I would do like a whole like.
What's your
Aladdin
impression of
joke.
him?
Oh
Did
God,
you do an impression?
What was the joke? I would say
It was the Aladdin bit.
we have found Osama bin Laden. He's hiding in a village called Agrabah. I know this because I saw a movie called Aladdin. He has a
sound just
parrot
like him.
for a friend, and he's changed his name to Jafar. It was just a bad
Very
Aladdin
good.
joke.
Bravo. That's
Thank
very
you.
good.
And it was, I thought it was so funny.
I was hoping that Gore would get in because I had a drop-dead imitation of Gore. I will work for you.
I love it.
You could have had Alec
Since
Baldwin's
we're talking
job
about
on the
White
air.
House. Tell him, do
That
your
is the whole
Kissinger
point
thing.
about Dr. Kissinger. If you notice,
Oh
that
yeah,
I
no,
had
you played Kissinger in Nixon, which was a
I'm
huge
wearing
movie.
the glasses that I wore in the movie.
Oh my God.
These are the glasses where Dr. Kissinger, the same company where he gets his, and I got them to wear these in the movie.
My God.
Now, how much prosthetics did you wear? Because you
A lot.
looked so much like Henry Kissinger then.
Oh, I know. I had a wonderful makeup guy from Canada, Gordon, who's like an innovator. It was a nose, but made of silicone.
Yeah.
I had false eyebrows. I had lenses to lighten my eyes, or brown eyes. I wore these glasses, of course. I wore a lip plumper, which pushed my lips out a certain way,
Wow.
and a wig.
Really?
I was unrecognizable. My daughter walked right by me on the set. Walked right by me, didn't know me.
Oh my God! Now you were in that with Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah. What was he like to work with?
Well, he's a great actor. We all know that. He's a wonderful colleague. There's nothing. He's a terrific colleague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Woods was in that, right?
Woods is an old friend of
Tell-
mine.
tell them what the-
Powers Booth.
Tell him what the boy
Powers,
said
I know-
about you when
I don't
James
wanna
was.
say that.
No,
Oh,
tell
come
him.
on.
No, it's good. Tell him. It happened.
Uh,
He won't care. You know what?
Not he,
Woods?
but
Do you
it's
know what
very self-aggrandizing.
So what? You're an actor. That's what it's okay.
All right, anyway, we were on the set, and he said, I don't like to say this. He said, I was with the guys last night. I said, what guys? He said,
James
you
Woods
know,
said this.
You know, Bobby and Al, and, Bob DeNiro and
Sure,
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
These are the guys. I mean, these are all friends. I've known them for many, many years.
on.
And he said, we were talking about the great actors. I said, oh, good. I'm not biting in any of this because I don't know what the hell he's going to say. And he said, well, who mentioned this? Who mentioned that? And then Al pipes up and says, there's one guy who is great, and nobody knows how good he is because he makes it look so easy. And then Bobby said, oh, you mean Paulie?
Wow.
Wow.
I love it.
So it's
Yeah,
kind of
big
nice.
praise.
You know,
Very
we have a
good.
mutual admiration society. Those two guys and I, we've been around a long time and
Yeah.
worked with each other. And
Well, you
and
guys also made
Goodfellas.
one of the greatest
One of the great movies of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Goodfellas is. I mean, it's so influential.
Tell him about
It
Ray
changed
Liotta and
everything.
the slap.
But you worked with Al before that on.
I've worked with 3 or 4 movies with Al.
Yeah, you did the park in the
Panic in Needle Park.
Panic in Needle Park.
We did Cruising.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there may be another one, but I don't remember. But Al is one of the most intelligent guys, because we don't get to know actors because we see them in their roles and they leave big impressions. Like everybody thinks I'm a gangster,
Yeah.
They don't think I play gangsters. They think I am a gangster.
Sure, yeah.
So, meanwhile, I'm a poet and a sculptor and an opera singer and a director and a writer and many, many things. None of them is gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is a very, very intelligent man. We talked one day for 3 hours, just he and I, on the set. And I was amazed by his in-depth intelligence. And we really communicated beautifully. We've been friends for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Who,
He's,
Al?
Al, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we saw him at the Beverly Hills Hotel maybe, I don't know, it was a couple months ago.
yeah.
The nicest guy, and he was over
Oh,
there
he's
standing
great.
by himself actually on the phone. And he saw Paul, and he made him beeline. And he is the nicest, warmest.
Paulie,
So
Love it.
great. So
we have great respect for each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think there's
doubt.
no better actor on the planet than Al Pacino. He's
Other
just-
than Paul Sorvino.
well, but
But Al's
Agree.
second.
Al is a fantastic actor, rangy, fantastic actor.
No.
You look at the Godfathers, and you look at how good he is in those. It's astonishing.
amazing.
So
He
committed,
actually outacts Brando in that. Frankly, he's
Yeah.
more true. Brando was the greatest actor we ever had, but by the time he did Godfather, as far as I'm concerned, he was a little off his game. Because he didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I think
Whereas
you and Al
Al-
Pacino are both better than him.
Al
he
was.
good.
There's
but-
guys like Al where you watch them and you can see they put it looks like they put so much
Yeah.
work
Al
into
Pacino is
what
so
there's
good.
so much energy in there and
Yeah.
and you like you and then there's guys like DeNiro who it feels so natural. It feels like it's just happening as it's happening.
Well,
Like,
there's a great
they're-
gift.
yeah.
They're both great actors.
They're both-
no question
yeah,
about
Al
it.
Pacino is so good it makes Jack and Jill all that much more shocking.
God, that was one of my favorite bizarre
Bad movies we went to go see in the theater.
I made Matt Walker. This has been my friend for about 14 years.
I'm
and
sorry.
I know. God, tell me about it.
You should be apologizing.
You should be apologizing to him. I mean, he should be apologizing from. No, I should apologize. to
Somebody
him.
should apologize
One
here.
of us should apologize.
I'm
at some
sorry
point.
I'm hearing this.
Yeah, long story short,
Yeah, this is unfortunately we have to listen to all of this.
I know.
Anyway,
What the
Is this going to
What's the
end?
matter with
Really?
us? I used to take Matt to go see the worst movies that were in the theater. That was like the thing that we did. Every
Yeah.
month I would take him to the worst possible movie
Yes.
screening, and then I would make him write reviews about it and we'd talk about it. And one of the worst I think ever made was Jack and Jill, which
I never
was
saw
an
it.
Adam
What is it?
Sandler
With
movie
Al?
where he
Adam
plays.
Sandler played a brother and a sister.
Yeah, he plays both. He
And
plays
Al
his twin
Pacino winds
sister.
up falling in love with Adam Sandler
Oh,
dressed
no.
as
And
Adam Sandler's sister.
Pacino does in the movie. He does a
song and dance
commercial
for Dunkin'
A
Donuts.
commercial for Dunkin' Donuts.
I remember
called the
that. He
Dunkin'
does a dance.
He
Pacino,
does
yeah.
a dance. And,
Yeah.
and he does a rap song. He goes, "I'm Al Pacino. I love the Dunkin'
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my
And then
God,
at
that's
the
great.
end, he
But
does
that
the
was
whole
extraordinary,
commercial.
I thought.
Yeah.
Hysterical. And at the end of the commercial, it cuts, and it's just Al sitting with Adam watching it on the screen, and Al goes, "No one will ever see this." And Adam goes, "Well, what if we?" And he goes, "No one will ever see this."
I
And that was it.
remember
I was like, "This is amazing." It was great. I mean, it's a great, bad,
It's a great
funny,
scene in a terrible movie.
Man, I love
Yeah.
that stuff. All right, so Emmy winner. You're an Emmy winner, my
Yeah.
dear. How
Where
did
do you keep the Emmy? Let's ask
Yeah,
that.
where do you keep
It's right
it?
over
The
there.
Emmy's
It's
right
right over
there.
there.
It's
Right
right
there.
there on the counter.
It's on the counter.
How did you make the leap from the White House to being a talk show host?
Well, I started in TV, and then I got into politics and back in TV. So I've always had a foot in both. And the reason I won an Emmy is because I can fight off 4 Democrats and win. And I did. I never lost. I never lost a battle. Never. Right?
That's right. You watch it and you'll see.
I love it.
Yeah. So, so then I married Paul, and now I act. And, I mentioned earlier, Paul's the greatest actor in the world, so that's different. But to me, acting's so much easier because they tell you what to say, how to say it. They dress you. They do your hair. I mean, they do everything.
What a lot
for
of
you.
baloney.
It's
Let me
true.
tell you
It's
this.
so
Let me-
easy. Next
tell
time,
you,
this is the biggest
being a
bunch of
talk
baloney.
show, it's not true.
Let me tell you something.
Hey,
We
talk
did a
show
movie.
host is much harder.
We did a movie that just won Best Picture at Juliet in the Florida Film Festival called Price for Freedom. It's about the Shahs being deposed in Iran and all of that.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a really true story written by Mark Ben-Huri, who was there, who was the dentist to him and all that. Anyway, I'm playing the
Reagan's
Shah. I look
advisor.
nothing like the Shah. I look as much like the Shah as you do, all right?
Right, yeah.
And he's about, he'd make about 4 of us,
Yeah.
we'd make 4 of him.
Yeah, right.
So I'm doing it, and they say, well, who's going to play the Queen, And the director said, well, how about your wife? I said, well, yeah, why not? But, of course, she doesn't look. Well, they made her up to actually look.
Do I look Persian?
No, not at all.
Well,
Yeah,
she
I'm
looked
as
like
white
Iran.
as a
she
ghost.
looked exactly the part. She looked very much like her.
Whoa,
The woman
really?
was a beautiful woman. So
Yeah.
the hair, when she did it, it was very believable. Anyway, she comes. We have one scene together, or 2 scenes actually. And the one scene we have, I'm a little worried about it for her because it's an emotional scene.
He doesn't think I can do
It
it.
would require a seriously trained actress. I mean, this is not fooling around.
Yeah.
Because it's the time when he's sitting at the piano. They have me there, not playing, and he's just saying, "What will happen to my children?" That's what he looked at the people of Iran as, and he's really despondent. And the Queen comes in and sits next to him. That's her, and she's got to join in this, and I'm close to tears. And I said to her, "My queen," and she said, "My king," and she starts crying.
Wow.
We did the scene. We finished the scene. I said, "What? Where? What? Hello? Where?
Wow.
Where did that come from?" She said, "That's what I was supposed to do, right?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And every time she's been on in a movie set, she played this tough bitch, tough cookie.
Yeah, that was real hard to do.
My maul, my gun maul.
Oh yeah, I get
And
it.
she just
Great
ate
part.
up the screen, and she just, whatever you give her to do, she just does it. She says, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. It's easy because you don't have to think of anything. And they give me, and she can think of anything.
I love it.
So point being,
It's a lot of fun.
that
And
she
Paul
is
makes
so
it easy.
extraordinary as an actress. You'd think I'd have to train her. I didn't train her at all. Didn't do anything. I just suggested something, and that was it. It was over.
I love it. You guys are so supportive of each other.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
coolest thing
Well,
in the world.
don't forget, we're both actors, so we pretend that we really love each other. And we can
Very
convince
believable.
anybody of that. You know that.
Yes.
We can convince anybody of that.
Hey, Steven, you look like you got the shit kicked out of you.
Oh, God, dude. I really did. I got the shit kicked out of me. The other day, I had to fight an MMA fighter as part of like this big Sirius XM thing. And he beat the living shit out of me. I had to last 30 seconds, and I was out in 17 seconds. Fuck. So I've been like super sore and like laid up for like the last 2 days.
Does anything make you feel better?
The only thing that's made me feel better is Fireball whiskey. Like I've been drinking Fireball for like the last couple days, and I feel 1,000 times better because mostly because you can't feel no pain after you've been drinking that Fireball.
Exactly. Yeah, you just step on it all day and just have a nice time.
It was terrific. It's been very, very helpful in my recovery from getting the living shit beat out of me.
Okay.
So that's what's been going on. But Fireball whiskey, it'll keep you feeling good. Anyways, let's get back to the show. All right, well, let's go back. I'm going to go back in history to a couple of my favorite.
Back in history.
History.
Nazi troops spreading over Poland. Meanwhile, back at Berchtesgaden, the Führer, Eva Braun, was doing her push-ups, knowing that the Führer disliked fat in any form. The 1947 Cadillacs are on display. This is Westbrook Van Voorhees.
My God, amazing. Can we talk about Dick Tracy a little bit? Because
if you wish.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a hell of a movie.
God, it's so funny.
He's
Such
so
a
inventive. Warren Beatty.
Cool movie.
Is so inventive and so brilliant. He was a banker. He was a Cornell educated, very smart guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's a smart guy. He's a great writer, a great director, one of the very, very best. I've worked with 200 directors, maybe more, maybe 300. But I think he is on my list in the top 3 directors of all time that I've worked with.
Wow.
And Scorsese is, of course, one. He's the other. I won't mention the other because there's going to be a few who'll be insulted. So
sure,
that's a mystery. So.
I get it.
But
here's something I want to mention.
Go ahead.
That you'll find interesting and most people don't know. Paul was offered the part of Big Boy before Al Pacino.
He wrote it for me, actually.
He wrote it for him.
Wow.
And Paul didn't take it just for scheduling or something. But Paul would have been a great Big Boy, But just so you know, that was Paul's part.
Yeah, he wrote it for me.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally get that.
Yeah.
What was that set like? I mean, every single person on there is just. I mean, Hoffman's in there. Oy vey. Madonna and all these amazing people.
Paul loved Madonna. She was great.
Yeah, we had it.
She was so nice.
She was giving me a little bit of hoity-toity, and I just cut her dead.
Really?
I didn't even look at her. Then all of a sudden, she didn't like that. So she started puppying up, and we became very good friends.
Oh, my God, that's amazing.
For whatever reason, she didn't like me at the beginning. That can happen.
What was she doing?
Who knows? I don't know what, but she was just kind of, playing the Madonna role.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm playing "fuck you." You don't impress me.
Oh yeah.
So, and through that, and rather quickly, after about a half an hour, we became very good friends, and have been very good friends. She's a terrifically talented human being. Mm-hmm. She is. People don't know the depth of. She was a ballet dancer. That's why that rhythm and her dancing is so great.
Yeah.
So she's extremely talented and deserves all of her accolades.
So when you were slurping the oysters, that was not acting on her part when she was disgusted with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were nice after that. That's good.
Disgusted with it. I was slurping the oysters, right? She said, "You make me sick when you eat." I said, "You didn't use it." She said, "That was because you wasn't a dirigible." But it was funny.
Oh, my God, I love it.
Of course, it wasn't oysters. It was gelatin.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat all those oysters. I said, "I'll die on the set."
Oh, my God. That's amazing. We were just interviewing Walter Koenig from Star Trek.
Yes.
Great actor.
Yes.
And in his house, he had a sculpture of Flat Top. From Dick Tracy, sitting on his like on a table, and I went, "That's Flat Top from Dick Tracy," and he was like, "It's yours," and he gave it to me, and it's signed by the sculptor from the movie, and it's sitting in my living room.
You got to be kidding!
You wouldn't believe this thing. I mean, it's small. It's a small sculpture, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, And then when when you got booked on the show, I was like, when you guys got booked, I was like, this is
talk about Dick
we gotta
Tracy.
talk about Dick Tracy. Yeah, big fan. I used to sit around and draw like caricatures of all the characters from it because I was it came out right around that time, and when you're a kid, and I was was probably a teenager when it came out, and I was like, just the how cool it was, and it was so hyper reality, like that, so heavily stylized. I was a big.
It was one of those first big movies to come out where they brought back an old character that hadn't been at the forefront.
Yeah, that one and The Rocketeer, which you were in also, was a huge deal to me as a kid. Like, that's still one of those pieces where I will at some point own one of those Rocketeer helmets. Like, I will find one, I'll get it up on the wall. But that's like, those were big. Those are big fantasy cool movies. They don't make stuff like that as much as they were.
Well, now it's Marvel characters, very technological, very huge. Those were actual stories.
Yeah,
that were not dependent on all of those effects.
Say my favorite line, almost my favorite line of all time from The Rocketeer. I know you know what it is.
Of course.
Go get him, kid.
No, about being American.
Oh. I may not make an honest buck, but I'm 100% American.
Boom! That's the best. That's the best thing.
And I start shooting the Tommy gun.
I love it. All right, let's. I got another one for you. 1977. Oh God, George Burns.
Oh my gosh.
Can you tell us a little bit about Burns?
Yeah.
You have any Burns stories?
Sure. Well, I can tell you one that's a little ribald. I was smoking cigars in those days and smoking a cigar, and he said, "What did you pay for that cigar?" I said $5, which was now like $30, in today's money. And he said, $5. If I pay $5 for something, I want to fuck it. That's the first thing that he said to me. That's the very first thing he said to me.
So sorry to the Burns family.
Burns.
He was a great.
Well, he's gone. I know.
He was a wonderful guy. I mean,
but
he was just ribald.
Great.
He was asked about. He was seen with young girls, and he said, "What's it like to try to make love to a young girl?" He says, "It's like trying to play pool with a rope."
Oh, he's great. He was the best. Oh, I love it.
Tell
but
him
that
how
was
you
a
got
lot
the
of fun.
part.
I was not going to do that. Huh?
Tell him how you got the part.
Oh, well, this was... I had been fooling around with characters all my life, so I'd preacher and stuff like that, Southern preachers. And I heard that... and I had done... My first movie was with Carl Reiner. It was Oh God. Not Oh God. It was called... Going Ape now. It was called then Where's Papa?
Oh, yeah. With
that's... With George Siegel and
first
Chris
movie.
Vanderveer and Ruth Gordon. So we knew each other. We got along very, very well. My first movie, and he was really nice to me and really kind of understood me.
Yeah.
He got me. So then jump cut a couple of years, and I had now started co-starring and starring movies. And so I heard that he was going to do this movie called Oh God with a preacher in it. Mm-hmm. And I said, I want to do that. And so I said, here's what I'm going to go do. I flew down to Florida from New York. He was at a hotel, and I went to stay at the hotel. I've never done anything like this before, but I wanted that role very much. And I found him on the golf course. I said, Carl. He said, Paul, what are you doing here? I said, I'm stalking you. I said,
very good at stalking.
You're going to do.
Love it.
You're actually the only times I've done it are you and him. That's it.
I want an honor.
Well, I'm good with it, but
His first
anyway.
marriage, the Carl Reiner, was very short.
So Carl and I were married for a couple of years, and no,
And you got both parts that you wanted.
both. But yeah. So what? Exactly. So now I said, "You're doing. You guys got a preacher. I want that role." He said, "Oh, Paul, Rip is doing it for me. Rip Torn."
Oh, sure.
And I said, "Well, that's really a shame because Carl, I've wanted to do that kind of role for many years." He said, "You're doing it just like that."
Wow.
Poor Rip, he got iced out of the role, but he said, "You're doing it." And Rip Torn was I don't know if he's still alive, a very great character actor.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah, he's amazing.
A great character actor, and one of the greatest. And he said, as soon as I did it, I said, I want to tell you, Carl, I flew down here to see you. And he said, you're doing it.
Oh, my
Just like that. Just that fast.
Amazing.
And so when I did it, then they sent me the script, and I turned it down. He said, why are you turning it down? I said, well, nothing happens at the Shriner thing. And so I was on the phone with Carl and Jerry Weintraub. They were all upset that I wasn't going to do it. And Weintraub said, look, I'll give you, Carl said, you have to write that. How he knew I could write, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I was a very prominent copywriter in advertising.
Sure.
I was a professional writer. So So he said, you have to write that. I said, oh, I see. And Weintraub said, I'll give you an extra $5,000 to write it, which, once again, is $25,000, $30,000 more.
No joke, yeah.
So I said, okay, and I wrote it. The sermon you see in Oh God, I wrote. The night before I did it.
Oh, my God.
Love, let's talk about love.
Oh.
You can love my new car. You can love your new dress. And you can love that little dog in the window. But what am I talking about? It's a whole thing.
Oh, my God.
And I have a little good news. Mr. Torn is still alive, so you know,
Good.
Oh,
He's a great actor, and Rip, I'm sorry I took that role from you, but I'm sure you took a few from me.
Are there guys like Rip that you've gone up
Hackman.
Hackman?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see that.
I took Slow Dancing in the Big City away from him. He and his famous Barracuda agent, I forget her name, she's very famous. They went after that role so big, Slow Dancing in the Big City.
Sure.
And they wanted it so bad. Hackman wanted it so bad, and but I got it. So, but he took a few others from me. So
do you and him know each other?
I never met him.
Never met him.
Really?
Wow.
He's retired now. He lives in Taos in New Mexico.
We were talking about this just recently, but there was a role that I went up against a guy for, and then I got the part, and then later we went up against something else, and he got it, and I got drunk at a party, which I don't drink.
I don't think you should go to parties
not
anymore.
Not good at parties, and I'm not good at drinking.
Your party history is really not impressive.
Not great. It's not great. And I got really drunk, and I went up to him, and I was like, "Hey, pal, good to see ya. Hey, remember that show? Guess what? I got it." So that's just, and he was like, "Great, good job, man." I go, "Well, no reason to get weird about it." And then it just progressively got worse.
Worse and worse.
And I ended up a year later. I saw him a year later, and I was like, "I am so sorry." And he was like, "It's fine. Don't worry about it. We've made up since." But my God, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just, a total jackass.
Well, a great actor I was up against for a role called Made for Each Other was Paulie, in Rocky.
Burt Young.
Burt Young.
Oh, yeah.
And we were up for the same role. And we were both way too young for it.
Mm-hmm.
I played Joe Bologna's father in Made for Each Other. I'm 4 years younger than he is.
Yeah.
But I got the role and he did not. But we became friends over the years. He's a wonderful fellow.
And we just saw him
we just
3
saw him
weeks
a
ago.
month ago.
Oh my God.
Are there any
Great guy.
roles that you didn't get that you look back and you're like, man, I wish I would have had that
Well,
one.
I should have taken the one in
Big Boy.
Big Boy. I should. That was a big mistake. I should have taken that. But that's about it. I mean, I would have wanted certain other roles. It didn't happen. But that's just the way it...
Oh, no, tell him about Sonny.
Oh, that was
yeah.
an interesting
You'll
story.
like that
The
one.
Godfather.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
When I read the novel in one night, I said, this is from Marlon Brando. Nobody else can do this. So much power just in not saying a word. And then I said, boy, you're really so right for Sonny. Because as described in the book, he was 6'3", roundish face, big, athletic, big, strong guy. That was me. I had a 33-inch waist. That was, that was me. I was Sonny, Italian American, and I couldn't get an audition for it. So I finally got an audition, but it was for Fredo, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's
Can
like
you
asking.
imagine Paul
That's
as
like asking me to
Fredo?
play the life
Please.
of
Pee Wee Herman
Pee Wee
or
Herman.
something.
You know?
Oh,
Yeah,
my.
just no
I mean,
fit
that's
at
silly
all.
as that. So
Wow.
But the interesting part, it's an interesting story because I go to the audition. I said, I don't really want this role. And there's a guy there playing, reading for Michael. He looked a model. He really wasn't. And a guy across where you're sitting. And we do the first read through. And the guy is great. The guy sitting across from me is really great. And I was pretty good, And so Coppola says, okay, let's do it again. And she didn't, not looking at me. I don't know why. And we do it again. And he's talking to the other guy, and he's not. I said, Mr. Coppola, is there anything you'd like me to try differently? He said, I think you'd be scared. I said, now, I got white knuckles already, So I'm a heat-seeking missile, emotionally, whatever you need, I got it now.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I go to shake his hand. He walks away from me. So we walk out into the corridor, this other terrific actor and I. And I said, hi, you're a really great actor. He said, so are you. I said, well, you'd never know it by what happened in that room. He said, I don't understand it. He said, I don't understand it. I said, wasn't I good? He said, you were great. I said, well, these are the things that happen. I said, my name is Paul Sorvino. He said, my name is Bob DeNiro. Bobby.
First meeting.
He was helping read for the first Godfather. That's how he got the second Godfather.
Wow.
So, and that was when Bobby wasn't known and nobody knew who he was. But I saw right away, I said, this is a great actor.
Yeah.
You could feel it. You see it.
Yeah.
And we've had a mutual admiration society for a long time, he and I. And anyway, that was the story. And the story behind it with Mr. Coppola is at a party a year before, he was
Another
with a
bad
young lady.
party.
It was
Yeah.
Another bad party
Another bad
situation,
party.
but now for Paul.
It was a pre-production party for room service, which I was in
Sure.
on Broadway, and then I got fired by the star because I was taking too much attention from him by doing nothing. By doing nothing.
Who was the star?
I don't even want to mention it.
All right.
Anyway, and then so this girl was paying all kinds of attention. I was there with my then wife, who was pregnant and everything. I'm not even looking at this girl. I'm not interested. I'm a straight shooter. I don't want to. And she's paying this attention to me, and I found out who he was. I sort of knew, and apparently he just hated me on the spot for that. And the notation after my audition from the secretary, who was a friend of my agent, said, I've got a really cryptic, a really strange thing. I said, what? He said, what he wrote next to your name. I said, what is it? He said, I love him and I hate him.
Wow.
And that's my history with Mr. Coppola. It's been a history of nothing.
Wow.
Wow.
I love him as actor, but I really hate him personally. So, oh well.
Wow.
You know, you've done almost 200 movies without him. Don't worry.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're doing
I'm just
okay.
telling the truth, you know.
God,
It's all
that's
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a
That's
situation.
the truth. Well, he's what can I tell you? I don't want to go maligning the man, but
Hey,
he's
no, come on.
here and
I
there a
get it.
little bit off, you know.
Do you refuse to buy his wines now?
Huh?
You're like Coppola wines banned from the house. Is that what you do now?
Well, actually, here and there,
Oh,
I
wait.
won't buy Coppola wine.
That's not
and
Coppola.
Paul's like, every time he complains about it,
Oh,
then he drinks it.
We brought you a present. It's not Coppola
How
wines.
nice.
This is it's from our home to your home. Here, take this. You got to open it. You got to open it.
All right. Well, are red.
Yeah, that's
That way you drink
that.
this.
Now this is more
Now
my
you're
style. Oh yeah, Fireball. Let's get out the glasses.
There you go.
Dee's
Fire-
ready.
of course.
Little Fireball whiskey. I
love it.
Get your. It's a good party. It's a good little party starter.
Party starter.
And we
Yeah.
know you
Situation.
need help with that, so
Absolutely.
we appreciate
Yeah.
the party.
Anytime,
We
anytime.
appreciate the party favor.
You can Paul. You can drink this and then tell us more George Burns stories.
here.
And just so you know, I mean, get back to the book a little bit.
Sure, please.
We have
Yeah.
10
I'm gonna pop this
signature cocktails.
That she created.
Yes, and they're great and they're strong.
But one of them is the Goodfella, which after you finish it, make sure there's some railings around.
open. I would
really
not
knocked
It
you
doubt
is
out.
that.
strong.
I would not doubt that at all. Oh my God.
I think we've got one pretty drink that isn't like that, and it's named after Paul's mother.
God, it's such
Marietta
a
Song.
beautiful book, guys. This is a
photos
beautiful.
are great.
Look at this. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we had a ball
Those haven't
doing
been
it.
cleaned in a while, I think, honey. Those long ones. I think the
Hey.
little ones
Hey,
are
Chef
better.
Filippo.
It's Chef
The ones
Filippo.
right up there.
Right there.
You know
Nice.
Chef
Those, yeah.
Filippo?
He was on
Yeah.
our podcast.
We just
Oh
had Chef
my
Filippo
gosh,
on the
that's so
podcast.
funny.
This guy, Chef
Chef
Filippo.
Filippo Siniscali.
Yeah.
He was on our podcast.
Really?
We had him
interviewed
on.
down the street at Beverly Hills
Yeah, because
Hotel.
we had a
He's a great
translator.
chef.
That, right.
Because
Oh,
he
he's a
doesn't really
great,
speak English,
great
so we had a
chef.
translator. And then what we did with him was we brought him a gift of a bunch of bad American junk food and made him eat it and give us his like fine, refined
we made
impression.
him eat like Pringles. and
Sriracha
stuff like
Pringles.
That. Oh,
He was not a fan
no,
of.
that's
he just
awful.
he just kept saying,
Sort of.
Yeah.
He consulted a
Yeah.
little bit, but
He
we were
consulted.
in Italy with them for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We cooked with Chef Filippo in Balsano.
Mhm.
See, this is more my style. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
There
very
you
much.
go.
I
Of
really
course, of
appreciate it.
course. Yeah.
Paul, I don't know. See, I like everything hot and I like it spicy.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul, I don't know. I
know
don't know
if
if you
that's-
like it
I'm
or
a little
not.
more delicate.
Not delicate, but
Guys
we have
are
a different
so
palate.
Funny. I'm a little delicate.
Well, that. 2 kids, a good job, and now this. Remember him?
Oh yeah. Oh my
yeah.
God. Bye bye Birdie. Paul Lind.
Yeah,
one of
Paul
the
Lind.
greatest man.
So
So
let's
good.
make a toast.
Yes.
to our
make it
to our new
toast.
friend here.
Yeah.
Friends,
we'll
our new friends.
We'll make a little thing. Hang on. One sec.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it together. Ready? Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Huh? Yes.
Go ahead. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Two wonderful new friends.
Indeed.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Whiskey's always a good idea.
Yes.
Cheers.
Ah, my eyes!
Aye!
Love it.
By the way, it's very
It's
good.
great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, here's the point. I'll make you.
I gotta tell you something.
I want to tell you what the whole. I had a little drink.
Boy,
Had a
you
little-
get a apartment in your house.
little bit of a drink. See, here's the point: the people think I have a drinking problem, but what I have is a speech effect, and it's very serious. And what?
What? What's that?
Well, one of the drinks
This
we should
is
probably
very good.
mention. It's very good,
Very
isn't
nice.
it? We should probably mention is a drink called the Green Witch, and it's made with absinthe.
Yes.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, you may or may
Oh,
not
she
know.
did all kinds of
Oh,
research and came up with these.
You may or may not know, but it was banned from the United States until not many years ago.
It
So,
brought back in the early 90s, I want to say, because it was around the time when I turned 21 where absinthe made a return to the U.S. and it was like a
Yeah.
big thing that it was back and you
I
know,
don't
poured
think
over
it's as strong
sugar.
as it
And
used to be. I don't know.
No, it is.
It is?
Well, I
Oh,
had
I've
my
never had it.
first.
It's not for me.
I've never
no,
had
Paul,
it. So.
Paul, it wasn't Paul's
Not for
favorite
me.
drink. Paul liked the Goodfellas very much, but the
That's a
Green
great
Witch,
drink.
he's like, I can't do this. And it's like a witch's brew.
Oh, it's tough. She also
It's
made
not
things
for
with
the weak of
moonshine.
heart. Oh,
She
yeah,
actually
we've got
got
a
moonshine.
drink.
Wow.
Moonshine's
Oh,
But that's
my
called the
God.
musket ball, isn't that?
Oh,
moonshine,
sure.
honey?
No, it's Appalachian Magic.
Appalachian Magic.
Do you make that in your bathtub and you're just
Well, yeah.
mixing
Oh my
it up?
God,
I wa- I
your
was-
chocolate chip
I was-
biscotti looks amazing.
Yeah.
I was born in Appalachia. I was born in Kentucky, so you know.
I married a mountain mama.
Yeah, you really did.
So,
Yeah.
you know, just go
Except
down
that
to
she's
the
the most
still and-
sophisticated person on the planet.
I love it. Where did you grow up, my dear? Where did you grow up, Dee Dee?
Well, born in Kentucky and then grew up in southern Indiana, just across the Ohio River. And our publicist, who happens to be in the room, grew up right down the road from me in Norwood, in that hood. So, yeah.
I'll tell you, Roger Neal, this publicist, this fella right here,
Feller.
so handsome, this guy with the clothes, the way this guy dressed.
Well,
he's
you
the
know,
best
he
dressed.
looks good until
very
he's
well
next to
dressed.
his beautiful wife, Lynn.
His
And
wife
then
is
it's all over
gorgeous.
for
Yeah,
all
then
of
it's
us.
all over. Yeah,
For all
I
of
know.
us.
By the way, is your dance card filled?
Not really.
Will you save me a waltz?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anything for you.
Yeah. And a rumba.
Nice
I
rumba.
like the rumba.
Well, we have a rum drink
As long
too,
as we just
just
do
saying.
Paul Lind impressions the entire
Oh,
time.
yes.
What about Charles Nelson Riley?
Good
Come on.
job. 2 kids and now this.
We had Bruce Valanche on the podcast,
Yeah.
and
God.
Bruce told us that that he got Kiss booked on the Paul
Lynde
Lynde
Halloween
special,
Yeah.
and that Paul was like, I don't understand. Why would they want these guys to be on the show? I don't get it. And then Kiss came out in all the makeup, and
Gene Simmons
did
sticks out his tongue.
the tongue thing,
Yeah.
and Paul turned to Bruce Valanche and goes, "He's a star." Just the best. I love it. I love it. So little bit of Kentucky. Where
Southern Indiana, just across the river, in 30 minutes. So always close to Kentucky. You know, and then worked at the White House, lived in D.C., and then New York, and that's where I met Paul. And he brought me out of here. I never thought I'd be here. No way.
my
Here I am.
God. Now, so
In
you,
West Hollywood with an
do you
actor.
guys are you politically? Are you guys a little different politically? Do you
Yeah.
argue about it, or how do
No.
not at all?
Yeah.
No.
No, we
I
just,
couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Paul's apolitical for the most part, but he's good on guns.
Sure.
And I'm crazy to the
I
right.
was a competition
I'm
shooter.
way to the right.
Right.
so,
Right. Yeah.
So I love that. If he loves guns, I can deal with the rest.
No, I
Right,
there's a lot of,
hilarious.
I'm both.
I love it.
You can't categorize me because that's why I can't be a member of any party or any, hardly any club because I can't go to the party line. I just can't do it.
Yeah. No, I get
I
it.
could never be a politician because you're going to do and say things I don't have to. So
Sure.
one of the lucky things about being an actor and being self-employed is you don't have to answer to anybody except on the job.
Yep.
But you don't have to toe the party line. You know?
I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. Lost my head. Won't
No,
happen again.
I get it. I mean, what about Paul? You were born in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Where in Brooklyn?
I I was born in Kings County Hospital, which is, I think, the borough. My brother and I were just talking about it. I think it's called, it's near Borough Park, and I was raised partially in Borough Park, which is now all Hasidic Jewish.
Oh, yeah.
But it was called...
Not Bensonhurst?
Something Heights. No, Bensonhurst is where I had most of my growing up, which was the time I was 10. But I'm trying to think of not Diker Heights. What was it? Kings, something or other. Anyway, it's one of the areas in Brooklyn not far from Borough Park.
Wow.
And then family moved to California for a year and a half, moved back into Bensonhurst.
Oh, sure.
And then my mother left my father, and I went with her. I was 10 years old. And we were out about a year and a half. My father kidnapped me from my mother.
Really?
During the day when she was at work.
Oh, my God.
So he came and kidnapped me. I didn't see my mother for another 5 years.
I think our next book might be Paul's memoir.
Yeah,
His life is fascinating.
You really should write that.
A couple of publishers are already talking to me, but they want. But that's going to be quite a thing, you know. And, do I want to do it? Do I want to dredge it all up again? Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's worth telling. I think my knowledge of the industry and my history in the industry might be interesting for people to read.
Yeah.
My experiences.
Who would you have play your mom if you were going to make it into a
movie?
Yeah, if you did it as a movie.
Oh, good question.
That's a very good question. It would have to be someone about 40-ish. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
Who would play you?
A kid.
What about who would play? Maybe get a little Chaz Palminteri in there for the dad.
He's too old for the dad. We're talking about when I was a kid.
Yeah, you're right. I still,
you know,
it's so funny in my brain when I think of Chaz Palminteri, I still think he's like.
We did a movie together. He's a wonderful guy.
What
We're
movie
friends.
did you guys do together?
We did a movie called Once Upon a Time in Queens.
Oh yeah,
it's a couple of years ago. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Paul hits a guy in the head with a hammer. It's great. It's totally cool.
Yeah, nice.
I love
Hits
it.
him in the head with a hammer, cracks his skull. It's the best thing ever.
I can't. I will go back and watch that.
It's a good movie.
I will watch
Very
it.
good movie.
If you don't, Paul will go to your house with a hammer. So you said you're going to watch the
Paul! That's terrifying.
You don't expect it, and he comes up. I'm like, oh my gosh! He just walked across the street and whacked this guy in the head with a hammer and dead.
He hit my daughter in the face and threw her down. I said, "That's it. Now you
You're
die."
gonna get the hammer.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Did you do
You
a
know,
lot
I play a boss, a big time boss.
Oh yeah.
What a shock!
And I'm always playing. And
But you're so good at it.
I guess. Thank you.
What about theater? Did you do a lot of live theater?
I started there.
Yeah?
I started in theater. I was. I started out actually as a singer when I was 16, and I sang in the Catskill Mountains in the Italian section called the Minestrone Belt. I had a job for a month singing at Perella's Maple Leaf Inn.
My God.
And I get $25 a week room and board, and the use of the owner's 22 to go in the back, which I loved in the woods and shoot.
Oh, sure.
And then the next year, I was on the Jewish side, which is called the Borscht Belt, and I was what you call a tumler. I was a social director. I was 17 years old. I told him I was 19. And I never worked so hard in my life. I was up at 8 o'clock and started all the work and went to bed at 2, slept 3 or 4 hours a night, and just did everything, shows and things. In fact, Robert Klein was a busboy then, but I put him in the shows because he was talented.
Oh,
he did
sure.
this thing, Mook, you know, and so
Mike
he's a
Black
Mike
talented
Black
guy.
loves him. Yeah, huge fan.
So he's a talented guy. So we were there, and then from then, but I always wanted to be an actor, and I was always an actor in school. I was in all the plays. I was
Okay, you have to tell him your first line now.
Oh, all right. Well, I started in kindergarten, actually, as an actor. And I was in a nutrition play.
You were 5, right?
I was 5. I was in kindergarten.
These are deep cuts right now. We're getting deep cuts here.
And so they had a rehearsal. And I walked out, and as soon as I walked out on the stage, I was home. I knew it right away. I remember it as if it were today.
Wow.
I walked out on that stage. I was so comfortable on that stage. It was as if I had lived lives before on the stage.
Sure.
And so we did the rehearsal, and the next day we had the performance. So as I'm walking out to the performance, there were chalk marks indicating where I was supposed to stand. I was insulted.
At
5 years old.
years old.
I was insulted
Wow.
because they think I don't know where to stand. I was truly insulted.
Oh my God.
So they had stapled 2 oak tags to me, and one a picture of an oat, with watercolors oat.
Sure, of course.
And I walked out, and these are my lines. I am Paul Oatmeal, true of heart and true of soul. Put me in your breakfast bowl.
Yes. I love it. Wonderful.
And I never
Star
stopped
was
acting
born.
in school from then on. I was always
my
in the
God.
dramatic society. I was always doing everything and doing the plays. And I could have been an athlete, but didn't know that till I was in my 30s. Because we never played ball. I had a catch, played a little basketball, but I had some ability for it.
Did you do musicals on Broadway? Any musicals?
Yeah, I did Bonjour, which was a gypsy musical. I was in the chorus, and I understudied the male lead.
Didn't
on
you
Broad-
do da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? That one?
Which one?
Fiddler? Yeah.
I didn't do it on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
I did Fiddler though
my God.
in North Carolina, with 2,500 seat theater, and I
you
sold
would
out
have killed.
10 performances.
You would have
I
killed.
did.
I would do anything to see
It
you
was a
play
wonderful
Tevye.
thing
Oh
for
my
me to
God.
do. It was just a
best.
wonderful thing for me to do. I was offered to replace Zero when I was 40 years old. I was too young for it. I looked at it and I said, I'm an Italian. I don't understand this, even though I grew up with Jews. Most of my friends are Jews because, so in Borough Park, And I said, I don't understand him psychologically. I don't know why he takes all this. And when I was in my 60s, when they offered it again to do it at Lincoln Center, no, that was Happy Fella. When they offered it to me for North Carolina, I understood it very well. And I said, this is an opportunity.
Sure.
And I went and did it, and I never had a better time on the stage. The music is magnificent. Had some of the original Broadway cast members. And you see, I was brought up in Borough Park and in Brooklyn. So if you think about it, it's almost as if my playmates were the grandchildren of Tevye.
Absolutely.
Because he migrated from the shtetl in Russia and came to America and had children. That's the story.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew all the kids like that. I mean, they were all, that's what they were. And we all played together, Italians and Jews. And so every time when we came to the end, and I'm carrying the wagon, and Laser Wolf, where are you going? He said, Chicago. And
Right.
his
Always gets a laugh.
Big laugh. And I was walking, and I'm saying, as I'm walking into the wings, I started to weep every night. I said, because, look, he had to leave his children behind. One of his children. He's never going to see her again.
Yeah.
And so to me, the story of Tevye, the milkman, is one of the most beautiful, enduring characters and stories I have ever read or ever been a part of. So it's one of the great joys of my life to have actually played him when I was right to play it, when I was in my 50s or 60s. It was the right thing to do then, and I was pretty good in it, I think.
Wow. Amazing.
And I enjoyed it so much.
Oh, that's the best.
Then I got to
love that.
play Most Happy Fella, which I always wanted to do, but that was at the New York City Opera about 6-7 years ago, and we did 15 performances, and I sold them all out, which was kind of nice.
God, that's the
and I got some
best.
nice reviews. They said I
I
had a beautiful
love
Paul will
voice.
probably be back. He's sort of looking to get into that in a little bit,
Yeah.
Is there a
Good.
role that it's just on your list of something you want to play
Lear,
someday?
King Lear.
King Lear.
My own production. I played it twice, and I want to do that as a movie, and I want to do it as a stage play. It's Shakespeare's best play. It's a Paddy Chayefsky kitchen sink drama with the most beautiful lines ever written. And I've done it twice, and it is, I want to do it as a movie, and I have a whole adaptation of it for 1905, The Robber Barons of America in Newport, Rhode Island. So
God, that would be incredible.
it's gonna
That'd be a
really
good
incredible.
adaptation,
So
yeah.
that's one of the things I want to do. There isn't much else in other roles that I'd want to do. I mean, that's probably it.
Now,
Well, no, hang on. Now it's time for a little small thing we like to call Matt Walker is a huge nerd. Matt, ask the question you've been
well,
waiting to
I've been
ask.
wanting to ask because you were a part of one of the greatest TV dramas of all time, Of course, you played Nikolai Roshenko on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's right.
You were thinking I was asking Law and Order, but you played Worf's brother. What was that like?
You
being
were
on the
great
set
on
of
Law
Star
and
Trek?
Order, but he is a massive Star Trek
Well,
fan.
so am I. I mean,
Yeah.
I was that's why I did it. They wrote it for me because I wanted to do it. They wrote it for me. I knew some people. They said, "Okay, would you do it?" I said, "Sure." So they wrote it for me, and I got a chance to do it. I became very friendly for that time. You know, that's the way it works. You see each other, you never see each other again. We see each other 20 years later. But with Dorn, Michael Dorn.
Michael Dorn, yeah.
And we went out to dinner together. What a cool guy.
Is
the
that
coolest.
Data?
He
Data
plays
we
Worf.
saw.
He was
Well,
Worf.
we became friends with Data.
When we saw
Oh,
Data,
Brent
we-
Spiner.
Data's
Brent
great.
Spiner, yeah.
He's what a great actor. And Michael Dorn and I went out to dinner, and we played brothers, and we're both big guys. And he flies his own plane. He's a very interesting guy and a good actor. And so we had that.
It
Was
just seems
really
like when he's
nice.
got all the Klingon makeup on and he's angry with you in the episode
Yeah.
for most of the episode, basically.
Yeah.
Like, how intimidating is that? Because he's giant.
You can't scare me, buddy.
Yeah, come on.
You got to get about 10 guys, and then
This guy was
then I
in
might say,
Goodfellas.
well, let's
Get
see,
10
let's figure
Klingons.
it out.
Man, he was in Goodfellas. No,
There were
I-
10 Klingons.
I really, honestly,
Klingons are
honest,
intimidating.
I don't get scared. Nobody intimidates me. I'm not intimidated by anybody or anything. I'm just not.
Now, when we go on set, it's always the other way around. I'm always like, yes, Mr. Sorvino. Anything, Mr. Sorvino. What can we do? What can we do? So
yeah.
they are
I
all
think he and I
very
were a good
intimidating.
match because I
Yeah.
reared back with a punch, and I know how to do karate. So
Yeah.
so I
yeah.
think we
Yeah, it
didn't
was
wanna
good
ever
brother
fight each
conflict
other.
in that episode,
But
which was
we
great.
could have, But he's a former football player. He's a big guy, but I'm a big guy too. So.
Yeah.
So Paul's been in so many movies, and I've only seen a few because there's just so many. And so every once in a while, someone will come up and say, "Oh, I loved you as this," and it happens. I'm like, "What? What is that?" So the one that was the funniest to me is we're in Canada, and I get hit by a biker. I'm in the hospital, and the doctor comes up and says, "Oh, Worf's brother." And
Yeah,
I'm like,
right,
"Oh,
exactly.
God." And here I
God.
think I might have a concussion. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Did he call you Worf's
I
brother?"
was doing a movie and they
What
told
does
me
that
this, and I
mean?
raced to the hospital.
Yeah.
I
my
said she's got a
God.
brain injury. I was scared to death.
That must have been the worst. You were hit by a biker?
Bicycle.
I was walking
rider.
across the street,
Sure.
and like a courier hit
in
me.
the crosswalk.
And then a
What?
homeless guy says, "You suck, fuck you." So I mean, he brought attention to it and everything.
God.
But I was smarter from it.
I wanted to find that guy and beat him to death.
But anyway, when the
Absolutely.
doctor came up and says, "You're Worf's
Worf's
brother,"
brother.
couldn't care less about what's going on with me, which is all right. But every once in a while, someone will come up and they'll call Paul a name like Capulet or
Whatever.
whatever.
Oh,
Usually,
yeah.
Big Paulie.
Romeo and Juliet. That
Yeah.
was a huge,
that was
huge
a
movie.
really interesting
Great
adaptation,
movie.
too.
It launched DiCaprio into
Claire
the
Danes.
Yes, it did.
stratosphere. Yeah, and same
Yeah.
with Claire Danes. Yeah.
Yeah, she look at where she is. She's so wonderful on that show.
Homeland, yeah.
We saw Leonardo DiCaprio for the Golden Globes. Was that
It was
it?
a couple of months ago at the party.
I know, but I think it was around that time.
I don't
And
know.
anyway, it was
He threw a party for Martin,
Martin
Scorsese's
Scorsese.
movie, The Silence.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And they invited us. And so we got to, I hadn't seen DiCaprio in a long time, but it was nice to see him. And, of course, Marty, it was great to see him. And,
And Martin, he was all over Paul, and just the nicest guy. He's very short, he's a
Sweet
little
guy.
guy, but the
Sweet
sweetest
guy.
guy. And you're like, wow, this guy's so amazing, and he's so brilliant, and just couldn't be nicer. He's
couldn't
like
be
a
more
grandpa.
natural. Couldn't be more
He's a
human.
doll.
Simple.
Yeah.
Here's this guy with this incredible brain, and he's the simplest guy you ever
He's
want to
so
know.
nice.
When we did Goodfellas, the first rehearsal we did, the first thing we shot was the scene where I say you got to go back. You can't, you got to go back to your wife. We can't do. What are we, Animali? That kind of.
Yeah.
Well, so we're rehearsing, and we go run through it first, and he gets rid of the crew, which I do too when I direct, and so we're just doing it, actors and director. And we go through it once. He said, "Oh, good, good." And I said to myself, "Good, this is terrible." And I'm talking about I'm with Bobby DeNiro
Yeah.
and Ray Liotta, but Bobby was a giant, in that time.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, we're doing this thing, and nobody's any good, including me. This was terrible. I said, well, he likes that? So we do it again, a couple more times, and all of a sudden it starts to get really good. And I said, no, he's not senile, you are. I said, this is superb, the way he works, because the actor can do no wrong with him. He makes you feel like your uncle is taking care of you. It is. I've never seen anything like it. You feel elevated.
Wow.
And I was told about this by Pesci years ago. I've known Pesci many years. And he said, when you work with him, if you get a chance, there's nothing like it.
Wow.
You just feel elevated. And he directs improvisations. That's what he does. He 40% of Goodfellas is improvised, based on a terrific script by Pileggi, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all changed. And Pileggi, they're all happy with it. That's what they want.
Right.
And so when I realized, I said, this is incredible stuff, because he makes the actor the collaborator. And any really good director does that, but there are only a few.
Yeah.
Some of them just want to, most of them just want to tell you what to do. And of course, nobody tells me anything. At this point in my life, I look at them. Oh, sorry, Mr. Sorvino. That kind of thing. Because I've had enough. I have no shit. You've got to prove it to me now.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky to work with a few terrific young directors in the last couple of years, and a new director who's actually a doctor, the leading MS doctor in the world. His name is Howard Weiner. And he directed a movie that we're going to do. We have a screening at Tribeca of in a couple of weeks called The Last Poker Game. Marty Landau and I star in this.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
Oh, he's a cool. Landau's
So
the coolest
nice.
guy I want to know.
So great.
Oh my God, what a great guy! And so there. And then there's guys.
You like
Dave
Darren
Rodriguez. There's
Bousman?
guys around, newcomers. Darren Bousman,
Yeah,
one of my
Repo.
favorites in the
You
world.
like Repo. I mean, we've got these young kids.
Oh,
come
Darren Bousman is
we
a great
love you in
director.
Repo.
Saw 2 and 3.
God, yeah.
Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Oh, that's a huge
So
one.
great.
Hallelujah. Did you see the Hallelujah one?
Yeah.
That's the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Devil's Carnival Hallelujah,
So
where I
good.
sing a couple of different songs in
Oh,
it.
my God.
Yeah. So
But you
there's
have these-
I've been lucky.
Yeah.
In the last 4 or 5 years, I've come across only really good directors. I don't know why, because early in my career I came across some jerks. But
Sure.
in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe because I'm careful about what I do, I don't like it. If I don't like the material, I will not do it. I never did.
Yeah.
But I kind of judge it well. And the directors of today are not the way they were. The old time guys thought they were, like Che Guevara or something, or Castro. A lot of them would just want to tell you what to do. And of course, I wouldn't take that shit from anybody.
Yeah.
Warren Beatty said something to me when we were doing Reds in '82. He said, you should never be nervous when you walk on a set. You're the best actor on any set. I said, what are you telling me? I'm the greatest actor in the world. He said, yeah, that's his opinion. That's fine.
Sure.
And I said, how come I'm not making time to eat a picture? He said, oh, that's easy. You haven't learned how to eat shit yet. That's what
No,
he said.
Paul does not
Wow.
do that.
I have never done it.
No.
I have never acquired that taste. And when I shaved, I didn't shave this morning, but when I shaved yesterday, I said, whatever this is, you own it, all of it. I never changed it for anybody.
Yeah, man. Hell
I'm not
yeah.
arrogant. In a certain way, I'm kind of humble about my work and about my place in the world.
Absolutely.
I hold no man's head higher than mine or lower than mine unless he proves different. And the work is more important than all of us. The real work of it. We were just watching an interview with Faye Dunaway. She talks just like I do. All of us from that generation have that feeling about, Duvall. All the really, really good practitioners of this feel about it the same way. We want to really be good.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to us, not stardom, but the importance
So
of
do you have a
the
favorite
excellence
role
of
that
the
you've
work.
played? Like one that you look back and you're like, that was my best work? Is there something you look to?
There's
as well?
several.
Yeah.
I think Goodfellas is really good. I think I'm very good in a movie called Mambo Italiano, very funny movie.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Very funny
Oh,
movie.
My God.
I like what I did in Oh God, The Preacher.
You were awesome in Nixon.
And Nixon, I like what I did. I mean, I think that was a characterization that's as good as I can do, so I'm kind of happy with that.
Mambo Italiano was
Very funny.
about
About two gay kids.
two gay kids.
Yeah, and I'm the father of I'm an Italian immigrant, father of one of the gay guys, and of course I don't want to admit it. So, no, my son is no homosexual like that, and so
Right, yeah.
And then when I know and I agree to, it, I say my son is the best homosexual, and my son is no catcher; he's a pitcher.
I love it.
So it's a very funny movie written by Steve Galluccio, a gay man who's one of the great writers of our time. And
he's
he's
terrific.
actually written the movie we're going to do in Toronto.
Oh my
He's a
God.
great writer, a great Italian-Canadian writer.
I'm from London, Ontario, from
yes?
Canada, and I was in Montreal with my family, and my mom turned to me and she said, "You're not going to believe this. There is this wonderful play that is in,
Did you
in
see it?
Toronto called Mambo Italiano.
Yes, it was a play for 3
and
years.
I bought the
Yeah,
tickets, and we're going to go see it. And so we drove to Toronto from Montreal, me, my mom, and my sister. We arrive in Toronto.
Yeah.
We walk up to the front of the theater, and we're like, "Where's the show? Where's the play?" And she goes, "I have the tickets right here." She opens her purse, pulls the tickets out. They're for Mamma Mia.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God!
And I go, "What the hell is Mamma Mia?" She goes, "I don't know what this is. I thought this was the Mambo
That's
Italiano."
funny.
We go in and we watch Mamma Mia. My mom fucking hates ABBA so much
I love ABBA.
that she wrote on her arm. This is not a joke. She took out a pen and wrote on her arm, "This is worse than when I had cancer." That's what she wrote during
She's
the
funny.
show.
I
It was
love
Your mother's
my
funny.
mom's a very funny
That is
lady.
funny.
But yeah, we were so upset that it wasn't Mambo Italiano. And then when the movie came out, we
gosh.
watched the movie. And
That's
the
a
movie
terrific.
Was
Wouldn't you
amazing.
say it's a very funny movie?
It's a fantastic
It's so
movie.
funny.
I'm one of the things I'm most proud of. And, of course, years and years ago, movies like Oh God, Naturally, I Played the Preacher, and things like A Touch of Class, I'm rather proud of. Where's Papa? Certain characterizations that you really fall for, you know.
Yeah.
Where there was a television special, Westinghouse special, called Dummy. It was about a deaf lawyer that we alluded to before.
Yeah.
His name was Lowell Myers, and he was the only deaf trial lawyer in America. He wrote a book called Law and the Deaf. It changed the laws all across the country. He went profoundly deaf when he was 12 years old. And he went to law school, and they didn't want to let him in. They said, half of our students fail. He said, you can't hear. How are we going to? He said, don't I have the right to fail?
Wow.
So he graduated second in his class.
Oh my God.
I said, how did you
Amazing.
do it? He said, I wore out the books.
Wow.
He said, maybe it was better. I couldn't hear the professors. I wore out the books. And, of course, he had a great mind. He was also a CPA in the daytime, he was a CPA for Sears. And at night, he was an accountant, and he was a lawyer. And he was a trial lawyer pro bono for the deaf community. And he never lost a case on appeal.
I
So
wouldn't doubt it.
The movie Dummy is a terrific movie with LeVar Burton, which is how I did Star Trek, because LeVar and I were friends. And I said, it's a terrific show. He said, would you go on it? I said, sure. And he set it up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Well, listen, it has been an insane
No,
pleasure.
you don't understand.
No.
I got 2 more hours to talk.
Hey, you talk all you guys want.
Well, we gotta plug the book.
Well, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the book before we wrap.
Do you have a favorite
this up.
recipe from the book?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to make?
I don't know. I think my favorite recipe in the world is probably pasta fazool, which
Sure.
is beans with macaroni, cannellini beans with macaroni made with a little tomato sauce and olive oil and garlic. That's it. And it's the simplest dish to make. When I had my restaurant in New York called Sorvino's about 20 years ago, a very high level, expensive restaurant. We had lobster, we had everything, the best steaks, everything. Yeah. And the biggest dish was pasta fazool because it's so delicious. Oh, yeah. And, it costs about 50 cents to make, and we charge $14.
A simple dish that's...
And it's simple, but we'll have it every once in a while out, and it's never
So
right.
delicious.
It's just nobody else can do it like Paul.
So
he makes
delicious.
it perfectly. So
I
we'll have to have you over. And,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
I love how you guys set up the book where it has like full menus of all the different
Oh,
types
yeah.
of like I mean it's
This is all her concept. Look,
genius.
It's a whole...
I
it's a whole
got to
value.
tell you,
It's a map.
I'm a professional writer. I wrote a book in '85, which was a bestseller curing asthma, called How to Become a Former Asthmatic. I was a top copywriter, one of the most prominent in New York at the time.
Wow.
I had offers to run the biggest shops in the country and wanted to act again. I just didn't want to do that. I was getting an ulcer from it. But she's a blogger. She's a professional writer, too. But when you look at the structure of this book, I mean, I'm a good hired hand. When you look at the structure of this book, that's all Dee Dee.
Amazing.
The concept,
It's fun. It
the
was easy
structure,
because we have
the
fun
idea,
cooking and
it's all her.
It's
It's great.
gorgeous, beautiful book. Where can people get this book?
all bookstores, Barnes & Noble, everywhere. You can buy it on Amazon and PinoPastaParties.com. Also, if you wouldn't mind, it would be great if people could follow Dee Dee Sorvino on Instagram.
Absolutely.
I'm going to start following you. I looked you up, and you're amazing.
Oh, pish
No,
posh.
you're so funny. And,
We're
and
gonna-
talented,
Pish tush.
and-
Hey, come on.
And then Storks, my gosh.
Hey,
Will you
listen.
do that voice? Please?
Oh, he's like the bro voice. Talk like that the whole movie, like a moron. The more
fantastic.
unintelligible I talked, the more they loved it. But we'll post pictures of the recipes and of the of the photos and the
Great.
book and everything on there. We'll tag you guys and make sure
And
that
thank you
everybody
for the
gets a shout out.
Fireball whiskey.
Boy, that's
Of
good.
Now
course.
Paul loves it. He
Boy,
just
that's
had a
good.
second glass.
I love it. I love it.
Perfect.
You guys are the best. This is so incredible. Any other social media stuff that we should know? Like, are you guys on anywhere
Oh, I'm
else?
a master of that.
Paul, okay, yeah. Paul,
I love it.
I'm from Brooklyn. Well, I got your social media right here. It's hanging. You want to see some social media? It's over here.
That's why I was saying Instagram,
That's her
Twitter.
department. I have
That's
nothing to do with
He's
it.
like, I'm not doing that.
That's all Dee Dee.
You guys are the best. Thank you again so much
Thank
for
you.
having
It's been
us in
fun.
your home.
Really
This is
has.
awesome. This was great. Thanks a lot. And don't forget to follow Matt on the internet.
Go to
the place.
funnymatt.com. I got links to everything there. Or if you are upset with my questions about Star Trek and think that I overlooked something I should have asked, please let me know at mattwalkersucks.com.
Absolutely.
Why would you be upset?
people get upset?
People get mad.
upset with him all
They
the
get
time.
mad. I
He's a
don't
know.
very
Great
upsetting
show.
person.
It's one of the great
Yeah.
shows of all time.
You can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STPHEN, Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe
What's
to the
your name?
Nighttime Show.
You're Jewish?
What?
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
Jewish?
Yep.
I got a rehearsal. Sorry. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, guys. This was a
We
blast.
zijn bij nacht.
Hi, geval.
Jest gekommen in een klein stedje, la gazen daven in een Shabbos, voor hier daven in een Shabbos. Jest gekommen uit zo her, drei schönste Barabaltim von der Städtele, drei schönste Barabaltim von der Städtele.
Wait, what is that?
That's a Chazandel of Shabbos, a cantor for the Sabbath.
Oh my God.
How's Paul
How
Sorvino
do
more
you
Jewish
not
than
know
you are?
this?
He's,
How's
because
that
he's more Jewish than
Because
I
I
am.
grew up
I
very
promise you
Jewish.
he is.
I grew up very much in admiration of the Jewish culture. I was always in Jewish homes. They were in my home. So I went to Israel on my own money.
And it's his only friends are Jewish. I'm not kidding.
Most
We're
of my
all
friends are
Jewish.
That's a fact.
Well, now you have one more.
One
Yeah.
more, thank God.
yeah, I was afraid of that. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
man.
Well, can you stick around while Paul fries up some sausages?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Fry us
All
some
right.
sausages.
I'll mix
go.
up the
You,
Goodfellas
our
drink.
audience is going to be so jealous because we get to eat and you are probably in your
the
car.
Goodfellas.
Thanks a lot for listening.
Destined to